Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today looking at another beer that I brought back from MBCC. MBCC 2021 that is. We've got the 2022 coming up in May, which will be great. But whenever I go to MBCC, it's always an amazing time. I'll often get to bring back a few different beers, and this is one of those beers. Because often there's a lot of subscribers, you meet a lot of brewers and whatnot, and you get to try some cool stuff. So this here is a beer that is a collaboration beer between Omnipollo in Sweden and Brewski in Sweden. Both are two very great breweries. Omnipollo you probably know. If you've been into craft beer for a long time, you also know Brewski, I'm sure, and especially if you're into the Swedish and Scandinavian beer scene. And Brewski hosts one. In my mind, MBCC is a fantastic festival as well. I love it. But Brewski Val, their festival, is equally amazing, if not even more my cup of tea, because it's a bit more laid back. It's outside in the sun, and it's so chill. I love it. But this year at the festival, I was hanging out with Dan, aka Dan the Man. You guys probably know him if you follow the channel. And he was like, "Hey, you should have a can of this to review on the channel when you get back." Which I got to now, like quite a few months later. So I guess this is technically from Dan, but also from Brewski, from Marcus, because Marcus was also talking about it. And we were actually going to make a video, Marcus and I, but he was too busy and there was so much going on. But we will make one in the future, I'm sure. Marcus makes some fantastic beers. He actually made one of the best West Coast IPAs at the festival. But yeah, this is the collab between Omnipollo and Brewski, and this is their BFF, aka Blueberry Fluff Forever Gose. So, you probably noticed in the glass already, this is one of these super fruited, crazy, I don't know if I'd say pastry, I guess it is kind of because they use marshmallows, sours. And it's not my favorite style. It's a style I initially kind of really enjoyed, and then it's just like downward slope. I just got sick of it. But I remember this being pretty good, having it on tap. It's not as cloyingly sweet as far as I remember, and not crazy pulpy, crazy looking as some of these styles. Actually, this had a crazy, rich, thick head pouring out, a substantial, everlasting head that was, well, this color, bright purple. It's actually quite a beautiful head on the beer. But it'll be fun to check this one out. So I guess this is inspired by a lot of the Biancas and whatnot that they do at Omnipollo. And Marcus told me that this is one of the most expensive beers he's ever made because he had to use so much blueberry in this. And that, it's just blueberries, and using it in this high amounts is, not cheap. But they ended up saying like, okay, let's just go with it. And they did that, and they added the marshmallow. And, just went nuts. And I think they've even done a couple of different variations since. And the label's got the henna on there, is in a kind of a blue character, and then I think they changed the color of them depending on what fruit they use. And there's a few Danish beer bloggers that said this is one of the best beers they had last year in terms of this style, so I'm sure it's going to be good. So it says it's made with barley malt and wheat. Here on the side, we got some wheat malt. It says Heidelbeer, which I think is blueberries, marshmallow, hops, yeast, and also vanilla. So there's some vanilla in here too. So the interesting thing is, if you look in Danish and Swedish and English, it's just as barley malt, wheat, and whatever. But if you go to the German one, it states everything. And I think it's something to do with the fact that in Germany you have to be really specific about ingredients. But enough talking about this, and let's check out the beer. I mean, I must say, for a fruited sour beer, that is pretty damn crazy looking. And I think it actually looks pretty nice. That head is bright purple. That looks crazy. I think it looks so much better when there's actually a head like this, and not that like weird slimy film that you see on this style too. It looks crazy. It's almost like, it's so dark red that it almost looks like blood with the purple foam. Craziness. Let's check out the aroma. Yup, this is totally pastry town galore. Or pastry sour. To me, this smells like an abundance of blueberry bubblegum. Like, I'm getting so much blueberry bubblegum, and I think that's because of the vanilla and the marshmallow. I think that is crazy. Yeah, I will admit it's it smells nice and it smells crazy and intense, but it's not something where I'm thinking, wow, man, I want to drink 10 of these. But this is not what these beers are made for. These are made for like, crazy what do you call them? We've said it so impression beers. Even though it's 4.5%, that's not, that's actually quite low, but a lot of these beers are not crazy strong, but man, that is crazy. It is blueberry bubblegum galore for me. Also, just like anything candy blueberry sorbet almost, and it's almost like a smidge of like, I don't know. Is it? It's just like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like candy flavors, really like blueberry candy flavors, and it's intense on it. And then huge vanilla too and marshmallow, and it really smells like marshmallow. Like Brett hates marshmallow in beers. He would hate the aroma on this simply because it smells so much like marshmallow too. But it smells, it smells like they nailed what they set out to do. Um, yeah, it smells crazy. Let's try it. Cheers, and thanks a ton to both Marcus but also Dan for the beer. That is rich for a 4.5% beer. Okay, surprisingly more drinkable than I thought smelling it. But it really carries on with that blueberry bubblegum for me. Like, I don't know, it's like almost like blue raspberry. Nah, no, it's too deep and it's not like blue raspberry is like artificial raspberry, like a weird artificial flavoring. And like there was just something I was like, oh, it's like that, but not really because it's like blue raspberry is really artificial tasting, and this doesn't really necessarily taste really artificial. It's just like really heavy on fruit and sweetness, with some sourness. But I think like if you love this style, you're gonna go nuts for this. It's huge vanilla, blueberry, sweet, uh, bubblegummy craziness. That is crazy. And it's crazy the vanilla. Like the vanilla is almost like a bit like vanilla sugar. I think that's also because you have marshmallows. And often marshmallows flavored with vanilla. And is that kind of like vanilla sugar, Madagascar vanilla-esque thing that's there. There's a little bit of lactic sourness. It's nothing crazy. I think, even though it's quite sweet, the lactic sourness balances out a bit. But I can 100% say, like, this is just not my personal preference of sour beers. Like, I totally get why a lot of people love this, but it's still just like the more I drink the style, the more I'm like, I can see when they're made well in terms of their styles, but it's just like something I shy away from it. And that's just how it is. I gotta be honest. I gotta speak my mind. Like, I'm just not into this anymore. Like, the first few times I had beers like this, and when Omnipollo did their a few of these like crazy super fruited sours, at first I thought it was really crazy fun with all the maple and craziness and whatnot, but it just got a bit old for me. Like, I think they get too cloying in the long run, and it's like impression beer again. It's something you'd sit and sip on for a bit, and it's really fun to share with some friends. But it's not something I go for in the long run. Like, again, if it has to be like fruited with loads of fruit and whatnot, like, again, I want funky beers more so, and like oak aged funky kind of wild ale type beers or lambic. That's what I want, not like this stuff. That being said, it tastes good, and it tastes like what it's supposed to taste like for this kind of style. It's just not necessarily for me. But style wise, I'd go around, probably like a 93 or a 94. Like, if I had to grade this in terms of a smoothie / pastry sour beer style, it'd be towards that territory if you look at it objectively. But if I look at it in terms of my personal preference, it's probably like 84, 5-ish. Like, is pretty decent. It's one of the better interpretations I've had in terms of not being too cloying and sweet, and actually have some sourness, and it's just not like too pulpy or anything. It's thick and rich, but it's not like this like slimy pulpy fruit juice. But yeah, that's just it. It's not my favorite style. I'd much rather drink the Cowboy something, the West Coast IPA they did at Brewski. That was dope. But yeah, still tasty. And if you're into this stuff, you're gonna love it. So yeah, that does it for the review of the Omnipollo and Brewski BFF, a blueberry fluff forever. Thanks a ton to Dan and Marcus for this one. If you guys had a chance to try this one, let me know what you thought of it. I think a lot of people love this, and I'm sure a lot of people already love it. I don't know what it has in terms of ratings, but I'm sure it's quite high because it seems to be in tune with these kind of beers. So yeah, if you guys had it, let me know what you thought of it. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers and some crazy pastry sours. And don't worry, we got a few more coming. And I want to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review.